Okay, guys, good day, guys. Like, I want to show you guys how I catch this buy and sell entry on gold. So it might sound unrealistic to you guys because my believe that maybe this guy just the wine us. I can show you the maybe like before. If I have it, let me check. I used to send it to one of my guy. If I have it, this is it. You guys can see this is good before it move at all. You can see it. Right, this is right there. This is good before it move at all. This is when it play out. This is when it play out. So okay, let me go back to the chart and show you guys what I want to show you. I can just okay look before I move to daily time frame. Let me just delete the chart, then show you guys what I want to show you guys. This let me go to daily time frame. Daily time frame. Okay, this is good on daily time frame. As you can see, goods was price move from one internal liquidity to one internal liquidity or internal liquidity to external liquidity. If you don't understand, like price move from one liquidity to another, just know that. So this internal liquidity, there is a zone right here price was reacting from, so I mark it out. Price was reacting from this zone. So after price was reacting from this zone, for price to push or price to buy up, price need to tap into any internal liquidity. So that's why I mark here. This is my internal liquidity, my next internal liquidity. So my outlook will be here. This is where my outlook is. So anytime price came into this level, I'm looking for buy. Anytime price came to this level, that's why I'm looking for buy. So I'll go to 1 hour time frame to look for structure that can take my trade from around this zone. So around this zone, I can find here. This is where the 50% point, but there's no structure here. This is where the structure is. I will mark this zone right here. I'll mark this zone right here. So move this one to this other block right here. Price might react for that from that other block. So between this zone, I have 2 key level right now. So it's kind of confusing. I will need to use the flip circle to determine the key that I will use. Then I'll sync from this top to the low of this candle. So this flip point out this place. So this is where I'm taking my entry. This is where I'm taking my entry. I can take direct entry from this zone. I can take direct entry, but I choose not to take direct entry. I wait for price to come into these zones. After this tap into my zone, give me rejection candle. So I'll mark this low of this candle like this. Mark the low of this candle. Anytime price came into it, actually I'm expecting price to come into the 50% of this candle like this, but price failed to come into the 50% of the candle. Once I see that price is rejecting, so I take the trade from here, from this particular low right here, then to this. I use this as my stop loss. I use the low of the week, then target next bar side liquidity. I target here as my TP. So once I see the price tap into that place, price was rejecting off of that area. So I go to daily time frame to check what is happening. It was just normal pullback after price take out liquidity, and I'm expecting price to buy more. I'm expecting more buys from goods. So I go to 4 hours time frame, just look for structure. Then I found this other block right here. So another price might retreat back into this other block before price keep moving up. So I mark it like this. I mark this other block like this, then use this as my external liquidity, as my buy side liquidity. So then go back to 1 hour time frame. I go up to 1 hour time frame. I mark this level of OCL. Okay, then this block right here is either SB or RBS. I mark this block right here. Then this fair value gap. But I know that price might not retreat back into this fair value gap because this fair value gap might not be valid. So I use the 50% of these two sides of the zone that I mark out. I use the 50% of the zone that I mark out. I use the 50%. Then after that, I notice that there is C around this zone also. There is C around this zone. If price me to react to that 50% that I mark out, so price might react to this C. So I use this one. I use this zone right here. Mark it like this. These are an advanced concepts. Most traders don't really know about this one. So I mark this place like this. So if price came and tap in with liquidity and reject, so I'm taking that trade directly like that. If price came into this place, then rejects with the liquidity, I'm using this zone. So after price just tap in here, I'm taking my setup from here. Mark that 50% as usual. Then put my entry here, my stop loss below the OCL level. Target next buy sell liquidity. This is how I gain my second entry and how I refine it. This is how I do it. Buy side out with weak, not candle body. So this is telling us that price will sell and price was rejecting from that zone. I go to 4 hours time frame to look for structure that I can take my straight from. So I found this one right here. So price was rejecting from this low. Price was rejecting from that low. I mark it like after that. I mark this place like this. Wait, okay, just sorry. I mark this place like this. Mark here. Wait for price to come into the 50% of this zone again. If I can come into it, then go back to 1 hour time frame. Let me just delete this one. Then go back to 1 hour time frame. Go back to 1 hour time frames. So 1 hour time frame is giving me single liquidity formation. This is what they call single liquidity. This is single liquidity. So that make my zone valid. So I mark this place also on 1 hour. That's where I'm taking my trade from. So my entry will be here. I use 50% of most of the time. My entry will be here. My SL will be above this week. So target the low of my previous stop loss. I'm targeting this sell size liquidity. I'm targeting that liquidity as my take profit. So that's how I catch a trade. If you like the content like this, I'll be doing more.